Right then, 8-position auto tool changer for a lathe. Built this guy about 18 months ago and said that I'll do some sort of video on how it's all put together. Not so much the changer itself, it was more to do with, let's say, the peripherals, what boards I'm using, how I got the mechanical buttons to work, adding buttons to the Mach 3 screen set, and then you've got the tool changer macro itself, and then altering the Pokies plug-in boards, the Pokies plug-in to basically tell these guys what they need to do to get all this lot working. So that was basically an overview. Tool changer wise, she's 8 inches by 6, she's just under 6 inches tall, and she's sat on a bed of 12, is 12 inches long. Stepper motor is a NEMA 23 520 ounce, I think, with the appropriate driver. Messy bench. Cylinder wise, it's a 2-inch pneumatic cylinder, 90 psi running through it, which is controlled by one of these five-way valves. Little 12 volt, are they solenoids on the end? Run 12 volts through it and it clicks it, or you've got an override here. Little button on the top. So that's basically the tool changer wise. Had a few questions about the springs, about how much power you need. I don't really know. I did quite a bit of research on the internet, couldn't really find anything about how much, let's say, grabby force you need. Turns out these ones, I basically just went off and bought a load of springs, different weights, tried them all, ended up with this one. I don't know, it seems like the happy medium, but basically when it's closed it's 45 kilos. When it's open it's about 75 kilos. So, and it works with 90 psi on the 2-inch cylinder. So just running it through a couple of tool changes. And then back to tool 1. All I was doing there was just pushing these guys. Or you can push the, oh, missed it, there you go, push the screen on here. Back to tool 1. Gear ratio. Think it's 4:1. If it's not, I'll put it in the description down the bottom what it actually is, but I'm pretty sure it is a 4:1, or it could be a 6:1. I can't remember. It was 18 months ago. So that's pretty much all I can really say about this sort of thing. So what would be next? Next would be buttons, how to put the buttons on the screen. So to add a button to the Mach 3 screen set, you need screen set editing software. The one I'm using is called MaxScreen and it's available on the Artsoft website. I'll stick a direct link to it down in the old descriptions below, so you can go straight to it, download it, install it, open her up, and you should get this. So once this lot appears, if you go to your open file, it should open directly up into your Mach 3 directory folder. Scroll you down to the bottom, select the one you need to edit, and basically open her up. So you've now got the screen how you would see it in Mac. You've also got the properties box appears. You can select the pages, change the pages using this. I won't go through them all. So let's say we want to add a button to this screen that will do a tool change to tool 1. So first thing we need to do is add the actual physical button, the thing that you're going to press to the screen. So over here in the properties box we've got a drop down menu. In here you'll find lots of things you can add. You can add DROs, images, MDI screens, lots of little things. So scroll you down until you get to old button, highlight the button, click add, click somewhere on the screen and your button appears. And you can move her around, change the size of it, that sort of thing. So we don't want to do anything like that just yet. So what we need this button to do is when you push it, it's going to do a tool change to tool 1. So first thing we can do is go over to your text box, double click on it, put in 1, and we've changed it to, let's say, tool 1 for us. Then we need a standard code. Mac needs to know what to do with this button when it's pushed. So for the code we need is 34. Press enter and we get another box pop up. This one we need to select standard code, execute basic script. Press OK. Now it needs to know what the basic script is, or what the code we want it to run. So we go into execute code, double clicking that one, and we have another box pop up. So in here we just type code, then you put in the, you know, the thing, oh god, brain's gone, you know, those things, and then TO101, and then close them off with those things. Close down, say yes, job done. Right, hotkey. This bit you would only need if you're going to do, let's say, the mechanical buttons. The mechanical buttons basically go into the keylogger. So when you push your button, the keylogger effectively types something for you. So what we need is something in here for the keylogger to basically do. So if we go Shift 1, later on we will tell that the number 1 button in the keylogger, when we push it, the keylogger presses Shift 1 for you. There you go. That was a really bad explanation, but I hope you got the gist of it. So that is basically it for the button. So obviously you know, if you're going to get the whole range of buttons in here, you're moving them out of the way. Stick button 2, button 3, button 4. In here you'll have code 102. Sorry, 0202, 0303, etc. Shift 1, Shift 2, Shift 3, you know, that sort of thing. The standard code is always the same, it's 34. Right, so once you've got all your buttons in there, you've done what you want, save the screen set, shut it all down. When you open up Mac again, I think you have to reload the screen set, otherwise your buttons won't appear. Right, so I think that is it for the buttons. Forgotten anything? No, I haven't. Right, on to the next thing. Macro for the tool changer. Right, so if you open up your Mac 3 screen set, go up to Operator, you got VB Script Editor. Click on that and this guy should appear. Do your file open, find your M6 start, highlight that, open her up, and you get the macro for the tool changer. Right, so I'm not 100% sure on how this sort of stuff works. I'm not really a codey type person. This macro was originally for a tool changer for a mill, you know, the old carousel types. Z-axis goes up, carousel comes in, grabs the new tool, you know, that sort of thing. So I modified it to basically do what I needed it to do to run this particular tool changer. So if we do like a very bad, like, I don't know, thing of how it actually works or what it's doing, yeah, you might have, you know, you might have a gist of idea of, you know, more than me. Like, I can't even talk at the moment. Right then, so first thing it says, OldTool equals GetOEMDRO. Right, this 1200 is basically pointing it to this box, your tool number box. So it's asking it to find out what number's in there. So that's basically how it starts off. I have no idea what this is. Please put in the comments if you know what they do. It doesn't seem to matter if they're in the code or not. It still works. So yeah. Right, next thing, it says tool equals GetSelectedTool. So it now needs to know what tool you've asked for. So let's say we've done a tool change to tool 3. Yeah. Maximum tool number is, you can enter, you don't really have to have this, you can if you want, it's sort of thing. So maximum tool number is 8. So next thing, it's sort of asking it, is your new tool greater than 8? If it is, it will pop up with this message, place valid tool number 1 to 8. Yeah, so it's basically a safety margin. You know what you're doing, I've only got 8 tools, you've asked for tool 15, you know, sort your life out type thing. Next thing, if new tool equals old tool, then X is sub. So basically, if your old tool is tool 2, you've asked it to do a tool change to tool 2, it'll go, well, I've already got tool 2, and it'll ignore it and just carry on. If it is different, it skips this lot because it's just already done it. It then moves down to the activate bit. So next code or next part is ActivateSignal output 4. Output 4 is assigned to one of the relays on the Pokey's 57 CNC board, which turns on the 12-volt solenoid for the pneumatic cylinder. So that basically opens. So output 4 does this. Yeah. It then waits for half a second until it, you know, just gives it a chance to do it. Then it needs to know where it's moving to. So what do we say? We're going to change it to, let's say, tool 4. Move position, call move position. So it then comes down here to this little lookup table called sub, sub menu, move position, and then you got the two numbers. So what it's asking for is, if it's equal to 1, go here. If it's equal to 2, go here, etc, etc. So for this time, we want it to change to tool 4. So it'll come down, find tool 4, find out where to move the A-axis, which is 135 degrees. It then comes up and goes to this bit. So it's now going to wait for a bit for that, the A-axis to get to its position. Once it's got to its position, it will then deactivate the signal output 4, basically turn the cylinder off. So it closes the tool changer up. Again, waits for 5 seconds for it to do it. Next thing goes on to, right, so it's done the tool change now. It then says set user DRO 1200, which is your box, to whatever the tool number is. So basically it's saying stick tool number 4 in your toolbox. Yeah, right then. So that is the basic tool changer script. As I said, I don't 100% understand how it works, as in the bits at the top. The rest of it seems a bit self-explanatory. It seems okay. Right, now next bit, this bit, what does this bit do? Make the lights work. These guys down here, yeah, right. So again, these are connected to this board, that board there. Right, so we sort of have a little explain what's going on here. Right, so first thing it does is deactivate signal output 19, then output 18. So it deactivates all the outputs, so it turns all the lights off. Then it comes down here and it says, it basically asks if the new tool equals 1, then activate output 19. If new tool equals 2, etc, etc, etc. So each light has got its own little output. So again, on the Pokies board, this thing down here, this then has all its outputs assigned to these things which go into the lights at the back that turn them on and off, etc, etc, etc. Right, so I think that's it for the thing. God, I am really bad at doing these videos, God. Right, have no idea how to get this thing to you. I suppose, I reckon I could copy and paste it and put it in the descriptions. Use at your own risk. Remember, my stuff may not be exactly the same as your stuff, so play with it, have a, yeah. Right, next thing. Pokies plugins. Right. We've added buttons to the screen set, we've done the macro, now we need to tell the boards what to do with information like activate output 4. So to do that, we go to plugin control, highlight your Pokies one, and this guy should pop up. So brief overview, won't go too much into it because basically I don't understand it myself. But you got your pins, your function, what to do with the function, is it an input or an output? Then you have 3 columns of what needs to happen for that pin to do something. So for example, we've got LED 13, which is your flood coolant LED. So when you turn on your flood coolant, this LED will turn on. It will then see that and activate or do something to pin 1, either turn it on or turn it off, to basically whatever you've set it up to do. But all we're interested in at the moment is a relay. So if we scroll down to the bottom, do your outputs, we got the 2 mechanical relays. So on relay 2, I've set it up to activate with output 4. Remember that from the tool changer, yeah? So when the tool changer does it, it says activate output 4, the relay triggers, and this should happen. Yeah, right. And that is it. Next thing, so yeah, that's basically it. Next thing would be the lights, how to get the lights working. Right, so the lights are controlled by this board here, which is basically an extension off the main CNC board. It gives you another 16 inputs and outputs. At the moment I've got 12 volts running through it to run the LEDs. You can only draw 400 milliamps from each output. So don't go running your 3 horsepower motors through them, because you'll probably blow it to pieces. And it's pretty much the same as setting up the main board. So we go back to the plugin, scroll at the top, it comes under PO-X bus. As it's 16 outputs, you need to activate the first 2 and you get this lot. And basically all I've done is gone output B on the board is activated by output 19, output C is 18, 17, 16, 15. That's it. Easy as that, really. What else? Is there anything else I have forgotten about these boards? No. Right, next thing. Key mapping. Right, we need something to happen for when we push one of these mechanical buttons for the tool changer. So for that I'm using a Pokies 57U board. This doesn't actually run with inside Mac. It sort of sits there in the background running under Windows, just waiting for something to happen type thing. So for that we need the Pokies configuration software to set it up, get it to do what we what we need it to do. That software is available on the Pokies website. You can download it, install it. It has like a demo mode on it, so it's fully activated. You can change anything you want, have a look around, get to grips with it, that sort of thing. Right, so let's say we need to get button 1 to do the tool change. So we've wired up button 1 to pin 1. So if we highlight pin 1, we then tell it it's going to be a digital input. We then get the direct key mapping, let's say dialog box pop up. So remember, like hours ago when we put the button on the Mac screen set, we assigned the hotkey for button 1 to shift 1. So if we highlight shift, go onto the drop down menu and select 1, that's it. That's all you need to do. So for button 2, select pin 2, digital input, shift, drop down menu 2. That's it, job done. When you've done all your pins, you then send it to your device. It will then, let's say, upload the information to the device. It will save it to the device, and yeah, so now when you push your button, it should work. Right, so let's have a little look at the board, see how it was wired up. So there's the board, Pokies 57U board, and basically what we've got, let's say on the back of each pin you've got, let's say, the pin in, pin out type thing. So you've got your 2 pins. Your earth wire or common wire is daisy chained to the top of each of the buttons, let's say. Then it comes around and goes across the buttons. Then you have an individual wire to the other side of the connector to the individual pins. Pin 1, so button 1, pin 1, button 2, pin 2, etc, etc. That's basically it. So you'll be glad to know, I think that is the end of the video. I can't think of anything else that I could bore you with. Probably the buttons I'm using. The buttons I'm using are these things. So they're 12 volt. We've got 3, is that in focus? There you go. Yeah, 3 pins, normally open, normally closed. So on these things I've got, let's say, one side daisy chained to the common, and then I've got individual wires coming from the individual button to the individual pins. There you go. Right, enough of me talking. That's it. I hope you learned something from it, or I hope you got something from it. Apart from that, I'm useless at doing videos. Yeah, keep safe, as they say.